Donald Trump had some choice words at the United Nations this past Tuesday. Take a look.
Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration.
Incredible. Your countries, as in every country on earth, presumably. It's wild. Like, is Switzerland going to hell?
Well, just the idea that the president of the United States would approach the United Nations, incredible miracle of human ingenuity that was formed after World War II, after the world had just survived this horrible bout of fascism, and he goes to all of these allies essentially and
Every
says,
country in the world.
it's every country in the world, except I think North Korea, which I don't think is there. I don't know. Could be wrong about that. But he says, your countries are going to hell. Meanwhile, in the United States, he's turned the country into basically a military occupied country where the military is just invading state after city after city. Inflation is going way up. Pretty much all of his campaign promises have been not happening, right? There's this incredible animosity, of political turmoil and violence in this country. If there's any country that's going to hell, we've got to look inwards here, right? I mean,
Right.
like,
So the US dollar is down 11% since Trump came to office. So year to date. We just had a high profile political assassination occur on the same day as a neo-Nazi shooting up a school, which is we're several dozen school shootings into this year. So I don't know if we're in the position to say other countries are going to hell as if we're not. We're not doing particularly well. As you mentioned, unemployment is up, inflation is up. By pretty much no indicators are we doing much better than we were just a year ago. Meanwhile, it's kind of crazy for us to look at plenty of other countries around the world that have happier populations that are doing better
way
in many
happier
objective
population.
respects and say
Yeah.
their countries are going to hell. And also, it just doesn't make sense to me for Trump supporters. Trump supporters say that Trump is a person who is really good at diplomacy, making America respected and forming strong relationships with other countries. They point to the deal he struck with the UK, the trade agreement that he struck. And they say, look at this. This is statesmanship. He was just in the UK with the king, and they were pointing to that as if it was so successful. And my question is, do we really think the way to make other countries like us is to attack them and tell them that they're making mistakes and that their countries are terrible for no reason? I don't think that's very strategic.
Well, actually, Micah, you'd be wrong because that's called the art of the deal. Is you go and you speak in front of every country in the world and you just tell them that they fucking suck. And before you know it, you're getting paid $400 million in terms of jets from Qatar, which is actually what happened a couple of months ago. So I don't know, maybe he's onto something here. But if we're just looking at face value here and we're separating Donald Trump's character from actually what has gone on in the United States, what we've seen here is that every single leading economist in the country and really the world too has said the United States is on a path to a recession, right? Multiple states in the United States have shown that they individually are on a path to a recession, and that the United States seems to be on one as well. So before you go out to the United Nations and say that your countries are going to hell, maybe let's try to fix some of the problems that we have here that he campaigned on for 4 years, really. And so my advice to Donald Trump would be just that, man. How about you chill, dial it back a little bit, and let's go back to basics here.
Well, I mean, it's so bad that they stopped releasing data, right? So the Bureau of Labor and Statistics is delaying essential economic reports, which have come out on a routine schedule for decades at this point. They're not releasing the data. They won't tell us why. This is occurring after the last chief of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics was sacked for releasing economic data that was negative for the administration. Now there's a new MAGA person there, and he's refusing to release data, probably because the data isn't good. They've stopped collecting data on food insecurity amongst children. Would you stop collecting data and stop releasing it if that data was showing good things about your administration? I don't think so. But here's
Well,
the thing.
that's
This
because
isn't
Trump
the
has ended
only
hunger.
crazy thing that's happened this week, Sam. Let's play the clip. Trump has found the cure to autism, he's told us, and it's all those Tylenol pills. that you take whenever you stub your toe?
Tylenol during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
So I was looking at the responses to this, Sam, and even some of the MAGA aligned doctors, the kind of vaccine truthers that are around, have been skeptical of this claim because it's just so absurd. I mean, we're seeing new kind of conspiratorial health theories come out that are entirely invented, like just new fictions, just straight straight up invented by the president. There's not research that supports this idea. There's no basis in the academic community. And even if there was, why would the president of the United States, after maybe one study which suggested this for the first time ever, make a pronouncement that a specific company's version of acetaminophen, Tylenol, is the cause? That seems extremely irresponsible, even if there was one study, but there's actually zero studies which suggest that.
I'm just imagining all of the all of the MAGA Trump supporters right now who have a headache and they're like, "Fuck, I could really use some Tylenol, but I can't because I'm gonna get autism from it." It's such a crazy, laughable idea that Donald Trump is going on national news and addressing the United States public as if he has some degree in medicine, as if he's a doctor, as if he has any sort of medical training. Of course, he doesn't. His Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., also is not a doctor. They're not even doctors. And they're telling Americans unsubstantiated conspiracy theories based on unsourced data tests. No one has done any sort of testing here. There's no sort of procedures or standards being held in place here. And I think it's so funny because he's talking this big game about how we know for a fact that Tylenol causes autism and acetaminophen causes autism. Yet in the big beautiful bill that he passed, they defunded healthcare. The CDC has been shuttered. Most of the federal government that specializes in actually researching autism and cancer and disease, they've all lost their jobs, right? He defunded the pediatric child research center. Uh, I mean, what are we doing here? This is not a guy who is serious about making America healthy again. It's
Right.
just it's a laughable
No, no,
concept.
it's honestly one of the worst things that's happened with this new Trump administration. We've seen medical research, which is so essential to solving many chronic illnesses and make our population healthier. We've seen it defunded to an extraordinary degree. We've seen vaccines that were being worked on to help people fight cancer have been completely ended. The entire program studying it is completely gone. And we were getting many medical professionals said we were actually getting close to making progress in the cancer issue, which is so horrible. To give one anecdote, my stepmother is a heart disease researcher. And for many years, I mean, actually for decades, she's been working on trying to find different ways that we can combat heart disease, which is the number one killer of Americans. Her, the institute that she worked at, the Texas Heart Institute, closed under Donald Trump in part because of extraordinary cuts of federal funding. So that institute that was working on all this research is now gone. It's been bought out by Baylor Medicine. It's been merged into Baylor Medicine. Some of the research projects that have been going on for a very long time had to be ended prematurely because of these cuts. We're not just losing out on future progress and innovation. We're seeing studies that were getting close to completion cut off at the very end. For what? What is the benefit of this? The cost savings are minuscule. It is just it's a ridiculous, indefensible policy, and I wish more Americans knew about it.
That's exactly right, Micah. And of course, Donald Trump himself, he doesn't have to worry about him possibly, God forbid, getting cancer. He laughed at Joe Biden getting cancer the other day. He said Joe Biden was a sick man and he didn't deserve sympathy. So, if Donald Trump got sick or his family members did, God forbid, he's a billionaire. He doesn't have to worry about how am I going to pay for treatment here because he's enriched himself through the presidency. His net worth has skyrocketed billions. He doesn't have to worry about how am I going to pay for my medical treatment? How am I going to pay for my chemotherapy? He can just go on TV and say, "Don't take Tylenol." I mean, what are we doing here? This guy is claiming that he knows something about what causes autism, but he can't even pronounce acetaminophen. Take a look at this video.
Effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy word, but we'd hope whoever is making blanket medical pronouncements about a drug that is extremely widely used, one of the most commonly used drugs in the United States, would be able to know how to pronounce the drug that they're
Yeah.
so sure about. And I wonder about this, Sam. It might have already been it might be the case by the time this is published. I wonder if Tylenol, whatever company produces this drug, is going to sue the government for spreading lies about the drug. I'm sure this has caused business havoc for them
Oh, I'd
and
I'd be shocked
probably
if they didn't.
win.
I mean, the how crazy is it? You're doing business in the United States, trying to help the American economy, and the president of the United States basically declares war on you on TV. What the hell?
Like, I
What?
don't think people understand how thorough the trials are that our drugs go through in the United States. To the extent that the FDA currently needs to be reformed, it doesn't need to be reformed to make it harder for drugs to be produced, make it even more testing that drugs need to go through. We need to actually probably make it a little bit less, make it a little bit faster, because the extreme testing that we put these drugs to is so expensive and slows down the drug development process for so long that it stops a lot of new drugs from being able to even come through the market because they can't just financially make it through the testing process. Tylenol is one of the most studied medicines in the history of our civilization. If it was causing autism, we would absolutely know about it by now, but it's not. And the interesting thing is their other explanation of autism's cause is vaccines. And something I wonder is whether there will be a reckoning in maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, whenever all of these Maha medical solutions, all these big pronouncements about the true causes of our, modern phenomena, whenever they're all tried out, are we going to have any of these folks come out of the woodworks and say, oops, I totally ruined this one. My mistake. I got it completely wrong. I doubt it. I think what's going to happen is they're going to switch from one crazy kooky made up theory to another one, and they're
Yeah.
never going to take accountability whenever their fake, phony medical pronouncements are proven wrong. I don't really think they care about proof. They don't really care about solving the problem. And so the question becomes, what do they care about? I think this is an optics thing for them. They want to say that they have some sort of solution to a problem. They want to look like they're doing something to solve a big issue without actually helping solve the problem. And I find that really disturbing.
Yeah, these people are grifters, Micah. I mean, you said it best. They have no idea any sort of the medical claims that they're making. They're not doctors. They're just people who want to, like, they think that looking buff means you're healthy. That's what it is. Like, they thought that putting RFK in charge of the health services in this country just because he's ripped, which is questionable, arguable, by the way.
I
Just because he's ripped means that you're healthy. It doesn't mean that. I would rather have an actual credited doctor who went to like rigorous medical school, like, I don't know, the person serving in this role under Joe Biden. But instead, we have this guy who can't even speak properly, who's going out there and telling Americans, don't get vaccinated, don't take Tylenol. It's insane. Let's show you what actually scientists and doctors are saying about this. It's not good. I'll read it to you. This is from Arthur Kaplan of the NYU School of Medicine. He said the announcement on autism was the saddest display of a lack of evidence, rumors, recycling old myths, lousy advice, outright lies, and dangerous advice I have ever witnessed by anyone in authority in the world, claiming to know anything about science. What was said was not only unsupported and wrong, but flat out malpractice in managing pregnancy and protecting fetal life. When you have a problem with your toilet, you call a plumber. When you have a problem with your car, you call a mechanic. when you have a problem with your health, you don't call Donald Trump or RFK Jr. You go to a doctor, right? I mean, it's simple stuff.
Well, maybe try it out, and see how that works for you.
Do not.
We're
Do
seeing
not try it out.
we're we're seeing a reemergence of many diseases right now, which were eradicated by vaccines. And something about me hopes that whenever people see obvious public health deterioration of the dramatic and radically quick kind that we're seeing right now, they may wise up to the fact that they were lied to. Ru Trump is putting forward this notion that everything in America is becoming dramatically better under his watch, and I don't think that anybody who's actually looking around in their own life can say that's actually happening. And I hope over the course of the next couple of years, people will realize, yeah, actually, I was lied to. Maybe the mainstream media got this one right, and the random TP kooks got this one wrong. Maybe we should actually trust scientists. Maybe we should trust physicians when it comes to health. Just being against the system, the people in power, doesn't mean that you're always going to be right. I think there's like this impulse to be like against whatever the status quo opinion is. It's like this it's a very American idea of like whatever way y'all are going, I'm going to go the other way. Well, guess what? It's actually reversed now. Now, the status quo opinion, the administrative opinion, the official position is what random conspiracy theorists say on Reddit. And so now if you want to resist the man, okay, you want to stick it to where the modern culture is, trust science, okay? Read research papers, okay? Believe doctors.
Please.
That's my populist plea, okay?
That's a hot take, is believe doctors.
Stick it to the man. Believe doctors. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it, man. Believe in science. Probably get vaccinated. I don't know. That would be my tip.
Get vaccinated twice. Get more vaccines than you can.
Get 15 vaccines on the same day. Yeah, no, but seriously, like, I don't know. We're going pretty long here, but like polio's on the. We've had the first confirmed case of polio in the country under RFK Jr., who said that he was going to end autism. What the hell, man? You're going to end autism. Now we got polio coming
Maybe
up.
we
in
had
the
to trade
country?
autism for polio.
Absolutely.
So to own Trump today, take 5 times the regular dose of Tylenol. No, I'm just kidding.
If you really want to own Trump and support science, listen to qualified medical professionals like Micah and myself by subscribing to The Siren, this YouTube channel, this
Absolutely.
Substack, and Micah Irfan. We are giving you the best, most qualified takes on medicine in the entire world. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this episode of America Matters on the Siren Network. We will be with you next week.
Thanks, guys.